What's up, fellas? In the first of today's videos, we're going to be talking about the fact that the NBA has now decided that an all-star game is a good idea. The entire year, we hadn't heard anything about them actually having a game. Before the season, it was made clear that they were not planning on having an all-star game or an all-star weekend. And now here we are, and they've decided that the first week in March, there will be an all-star game in Atlanta. And this is about the stupidest idea the NBA has come up with all season long, and we're going to talk about exactly why in today's video. But quickly, before we get started, if you're new here, what's up? My name is Tucker. I upload NBA stuff twice a day, every single day on this channel. So if you're looking for a place for consistent NBA content, then this is a great place to be. You can also leave a like rating on the video as well if you're enjoying the content, and you can check me out at various socials at the bottom of the screen and a link tree down in the description below. With all those things said, let's go and get into the video. So, up to this point in the year, and when the NBA came up with this new plan for what was always going to be a very, very strange season, an all-star game was not a priority. An all-star weekend was not a priority. The priority was making sure that they could play all of the games, all of the 72 games for all the teams that were initially scheduled, many of which have now been postponed. And the priority was health and safety of players, not only with everything going on in the world right now, but also with the fact that it's a shortened season. They're going to be playing more games in a smaller time span. So traveling to an all-star place and having some of the best players in the league all play an all-star game wasn't really something that was a priority for the league, and nor should it have been. But now all of a sudden, over the last, week or so, there's been momentum towards having an all-star game, and now they have come to an agreement that will, put up this all-star game the first week in March, excuse me. And I can't understand. I would love for someone to give me a reason as to why this is a good idea. And it doesn't even necessarily relate to everything going on in the world right now. And they have all these different protocols in place. I don't even have to get into that to make an argument as to why this is a bad idea. Even if we just stick to the basketball portion of this is not a good idea. This is already a season that a lot of players did not want to start as soon as it did. Granted, most of them, went on a run deep into the bubble. A lot of players had a very, very long off season. So that was already kind of weird that some players had played 2 months ago and some players had played 6 months ago prior to the start of the season. But regardless, it is a condensed schedule. I mean, we started the season at the end of December, and normally the season starts in October. So there was already a shortened season, and they already are having issues postponing games. And this 5-day break from games was going to be really good for players, especially ones that went on a deep run in the bubble and had a quick turnaround into the season. And this also could have been used to potentially make up games that have been postponed because half the league is missing 4 or 5 games on their schedule. But instead, the league decided that it was a better idea to have an all-star game. And to this point, we were always going to name all-stars, but there was no point in having a game. There are so many other things that should be prioritized, like the health and safety of the players as it relates to everything going on in the world right now, as well as injuries and wear and tear on their bodies. And I understand that it's not that big of a deal to, go to Atlanta and barely participate in an all-star game. But wouldn't it make more sense for these players to have those couple of days off that were initially scheduled? They're not going to want to go there. It's going to be the worst all-star game of all time. Nobody's going to want to play. Nobody's going to want to do anything. I cannot fathom this. If Trae Young makes the all-star game, the only person that's really going to be putting in a ton of effort is going to be him, because he's going to be in Atlanta already. I would love for someone to give me a reason as to why this is a good idea. And it's such a bad idea that someone like LeBron is even coming out and saying openly that he doesn't want to go and that it is not a good idea. He said that he will be there physically, but not mentally. And I don't blame him. He just played in the finals. And, 2 months later, they started the season. He's playing incredibly well. And he's probably looking at that all-star break and thinking, that's my light at the end of the tunnel. If I can get there, I've got a few days off, I can rest and recover. And now he's got to travel to Atlanta. Now he's got to, play in an all-star game, or I don't even know if he's going to play. He might just show up. And there's just literally no reason except for cash for the league. And that's obviously not a good argument, but that's the only argument. That's the only reason why they would do this, is it's a money grab. They're going to put it on TV. They're going to make some cash off of it, when realistically, they should have done one or two things with this 5-day break. Ideally, or however many days it's supposed to be, ideally, they just give the players a break and let them rest, because it is a shortened season. It is a condensed season. It's been a very strange one for a lot of teams and a lot of players. Or why not make up the 20-something games that have been postponed to this point in the season? We're supposed to all get to 72 games, and you could have used those 5 days to make up at least a handful of the games that have been postponed. And to top it all off, as we get away from the basketball just a little bit here, The league has finally started to get all of the stuff going on in the world right now under control within the league, and now they want to send all the best players to one site in Atlanta, and I know they're going to have protocols in place, but why? There's literally no point. There is zero argument that you can make that makes sense outside of getting money for the league that makes sense for them to do an All-Star game. I'm sure there are a lot of fans that are excited. Like, man, I really was going to miss the All-Star game. It's going to be awesome to see. And maybe they'll end up adding a dunk contest and a three-point contest. I don't know. But even though there probably will be some excitement from some fans, it's just not worth it. Like, give these guys a break. I'm sure a lot of players didn't even want to start the season as soon as they did, and I'm sure a lot of them also did not want to have an All-Star game either. So you're approaching this point now where you're continually steamrolling over what the players want to do, and I understand they came to an agreement with the Players Association, blah blah blah. They don't speak for all the players, of course. They they speak for some, and of course they came to a majority decision. But at the end of the day, like, I'm sure there's a lot of players that are going to go there, and they're just, as LeBron said, they're not going to be there mentally, and I don't blame them. I don't know if anybody's going to go this far, but I would not be surprised if there are players that get named to the All-Star game, they come out and say, you know what, I appreciate it, I respect the honor, but my quad's kind of hurting. I think I'm gonna skip. I'm a little bit sore. Like, I would not be surprised if there's 5 injury replacements at this All-Star game, because if I was a player, I wouldn't want to go. I'd be like, okay, that's great. You could name me as an All-Star. That's awesome. I appreciate the honor. I'm going to go and sit at home for a few days because it has been a crazy, crazy season. I'm going to go spend some time with my family, and y'all can go have fun in Atlanta, do whatever you want to do, but I am going to choose to stay at home. I would not be surprised if there are a lot of players that do that. And the way LeBron was talking yesterday, I wouldn't be surprised if he was one of them. This dude is one of the oldest starting players in the entire league and is playing at an MVP level. Why would he want to go to Atlanta on one of the few extended periods of rest that he could have in the entire season to play an All-Star game that doesn't matter, that he could possibly get hurt in, and could possibly derail their season if, players go there and the protocols don't work the way that they're supposed to? So at the end of the day, it's an awful idea. I would love for someone in the comment section to tell me, give me a real reason outside of this being a cash grab for the league that this makes sense, that this is a positive thing for the players of the NBA, outside of some kind of monetary argument. Someone please give me a reason, because I can't find one. It's a bad idea. Name All-Stars if you want to. Fans can get excited about voting for their All-Stars and trying to get their guys from their team into the All-Star quote-unquote game, but don't have the game. It's just straight up not a good idea. That's the bottom line here. So, but with that said, that's going to be the end of the first video of the day, and I thank you all very much for watching. In the second video today, we're going to be taking a look at some of the All-Star fan voting returns that came back yesterday as well, with some interesting players there in that as well. So with all those things said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, you can leave a like rating on it. You can check out more videos from me at these boxes on screen, as well as on the channel as a whole. And if you want to hang out with me outside of these videos, you can check out that link tree in the description that has every single social media that I have in that link. With all those things said, as I said in the beginning, my name is Tucker. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all next time.